Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're back. Just for a little bit. Probably won't be on for too long. Probably a couple hours or something. Means like 4 hours. 4 hours. No, it might only be like 2 or 3 this time. I spent most of today driving around for work. It wasn't fun. So, kinda tired. Just a little bit. That was going on for the chat. Hey, congrats, son. Saber Fran is very good, yes. Hey JB, what's going on, man? Eating wings and farming. That reminds me, I should probably go get some dinner soon at some point. Short stream, how short? Maybe about 2 or 3 hours. Next week, Dresk, with the Saber Friends right up. Why farm Neural Alter? Spirit Roots. And it gives me both parts and whatever the gold material is. Forgot the name of it. I already farmed out most of the silver, the plate material, the silver mats yesterday, so it just kind of made perfect sense to go ahead and farm this one. Yeah, RMS, welcome back, man. Nero goes full Yamato with this design. I think it's more specific reference to Kongo, but either way. It's a big fat Kantai reference. Doing fine, hope you're well. Less than ideal, but personally, been doing alright. How do you feel about Neurocaster? She's fun. Any advice on this event? This event is actually a lot simpler than it looks. Basically just look up the nodes, see what they drop, and go after that. Easy. Build a team for that node, farm until you feel like you have enough, and then move on to another one. Rinse and repeat. It's actually very simple. Azure Lane anime coming out in October. Okay. I didn't hear about that yet. So good to know when it's coming out. What do you think we'll be getting? Some American boats, probably. I've been told we're getting Sandy Kai with it as well. We'll see. Hey Connor, what's going on, man? There's one of those spirit roots that I was looking for. Yeah, because she's only good for farming. You make it sound like servants who are good at farming are somehow really bad.
貴様もな、劇場女。味方にしておくのが惜しいほどだ。灼熱の夏、情熱の舞台と行くぞ。
There's Metal Gear Record. I'm putting it on hold for now as I get some other shit in order first. Did you make any plans to farm Neurofest yet? If that's another way of asking me if I'm ready for it, then yes, I'm always ready. $550 Quartz, no, nothing good. Who do I say for later? Merlin, Lancer, Artoria, they're on the same banner. Arashkagol, Musashi, Abigail. You've still got plenty of options. I feel like every game is getting an update or event today. August is typically a month where a lot goes down. I mean, we are in the middle of summer after all, if not reaching the second half of summer. Actually, in fact, we are in the second half of summer. So before the boys go back to school or whatever, now's a good time to push out updates. Is what I would think, but you know. Farming servants can save. One thing that actual content-wise servants can't save. Lots of time. My thoughts exactly. Summer Moose 4. I plan to pick up the 5th one next week with Solo Friends right up. What's the most amount of quartz you've ever used to get a single SSR? 2300? To be fair, I'll add a caveat to that. That was over the course of 2 separate banners. What happened was I started going for Kets first, and I think I dumped like around 1,000. I want to say it was like 1,600 or so, and I didn't end up getting her, so I had to call that off. And then Merlin's banner was right after that, so I continued that, and the dry streak continued until like 1,000 quartz in. So that's why I say 2,300. I know it was 2,300. So technically, that would be it. If you're asking like how much quartz has it taken me to get on a single banner, 1,700, and that was last year on Tama Lancer's banner. I think I can buy these foes now. Next meme after melt will be Nero because of 50% charge. How did you know? Use 300, got MP3. Nice. Basically, one Numa every 100 quartz. Good shit, man. Very lucky. You liking Kaz, Nero? Yes, a whole bunch. Any serums you've gotten off of YOLO roll? Nope. All my rolls have been calculated. And what I mean by calculated is like, hey, I'm going to roll on these banners, and I rolled them. I've outside of like, you guys nowadays, you guys pretty much see most of my rolling. The only rolling that I would do off stream are like single rolls, or whenever I'm trying to get like one, maybe 2 copies of like a particular SSR, and if they're not new servants, I just won't stream that. I'll just do that on my own. So, and those aren't really like YOLO rolls, right? Because I'm trying to get something, then not necessarily just throwing out quartz just for the sake of. So, going off that, no, I've never gotten anything off YOLO rolls because I hardly ever YOLO roll. Like, I know I'm sure you probably know of a few whales out there who typically do a lot of YOLO rolls just because it's funny, but I'm not one of them. Why are you farming this node? Spirit roots, gold material, and the bronze material. This node has all 3 of them. Hey Lauren, what's going on? Welcome back. I don't even see Todo tickets. I'm going to assume that's a joke. Have you ever had to call a stream off early because you got a SSR super early? I don't think so. And even if that did happen, typically I'd be rolling for multiple copies of them anyway, so I'd still keep rolling. The only way that would happen nowadays is if, just for shits and giggles, let me try this. The only way that would happen these days is if, like, I get hyper lucky on like trying to go for like an MP5 servant, and I get all 5 in like 300 quartz, which would be insane. But that's never happened before, and I don't think it ever will. So, no, I don't really need to worry about calling off a stream early typically. Hey Aragon, welcome back, man. Glad you made it. Having a lot of fun with the event itself. Yeah. The nodes are actually somewhat fun to run repeatedly. It also helps that these summer servants are really good for farming. Fran has insanely bonkers MP generation, and Nero is Nero. So yeah. you're supposed to get apples for this event. I'm not sure if we were supposed to. Going off Trinipedia, it certainly doesn't seem like it. Yeah, no. Trinipedia doesn't say that you got any quest rewards from doing these. And normally they would have them displayed. So, I don't think JP got any apples from this either. Of course, I could be wrong, and maybe they did, and we're just getting fucked, but... From what I can gather, I don't think that's the case. That galvanism is dope. Oh yeah. Who would have thought that 80% MP generation for 3 turns would be actually kind of good. This event gives no apples, yeah. So JP didn't get their apples either. Not off this event. I mean, this is still only the first part of the event, so maybe we'll get something else, but we'll get more, but we'll see. C is Ascension materials. Recommend clearing next. Whatever Ascension, let's see, Ascension mats. I assume when you say Ascension mats, you just mean Rishtar's Ascension mats. If you've already gotten the wine, I would suggest going after the gold mats first, because typically the gold mats are, you know, harder to farm, or harder, quote unquote. Depends on the material. Either that, you go for the gold mats, if you don't really care about, like, oh, I'm specifically looking for this material, I'm specifically looking for that material. If you're not doing anything like that, then just grab, just work towards all the gold mats first, like the talons, I guess the grease. Not a lot of people need grease though, so I guess you can go easy on that. Wine is probably the most important. You already picked it up, so don't need to worry about that. But if you are looking for a particular mat, like what's in the shop right now? Like, say for example, you're looking for stingers, you're looking for fluids, then obviously go for those first, because you need those, and you know you need those. So, and just go down the list. It's pretty simple. How strong is Mash's MP generation boost? It's also pretty insane too. Isn't it like 100% MP generation buff or something? It's actually ridiculous. Like it's even more wicked than Saber Friends. But yeah, it's also really good too. Too bad there's no pages to farm. Yeah, there's only the pages in the shop, aren't there? At least not for now. Maybe part 2, when part 2 shows up, maybe it'll be different. I don't know. I haven't checked the part 2 yet. Three turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Yep. Yeah, exactly, RMS. Which is why I'm just kind of taking it easy here. Is it worth to buy the boosters or just skip them? You can skip them if you want. I don't, from what I've been able to tell, or what I've been able to gather, the boosters don't seem to be too important. Like, they can help out with your farming, because when you use them, it's a 50% boost, as you can see right there. So, actually, I just realized they even tell you how effective the boosts are. Did they add that detail recently? Because usually, FGO being what it is, they don't usually tell you how effective an item is or a skill is. Like for example, if you were to use We'll just use Saber Fran's fucking buff here because we're not really going to use her MP here. Like for example, if we check her status effects here, all it says is, oh, increase your attack, increase your MP. But here it actually says it actually says 50%. So this event advertises the effectiveness of the boost. Oh, cool. Maybe if they could actually do that for all of the game's status effects, that would be nice. But will they ever do that? No, because DW and Aniplex are lazy pieces of shit. Clearly, Hamster Squad ain't getting paid well enough. So. Oh well. What's part 2 gonna be? Maeve is gonna swoop in and basically put us all in jail. And we had to escape her sex dungeon. Or something like that. They should have put in Mash as a bonus servant, but yeah, Sniper Sly's right. Canonically, she can't fight at the moment, so she's kind of screwed. She's kind of shit out of luck with that one. Shouldn't Annie Ballon be better than base? It would be, except I'm taking it for the heal because sometimes they can get kind of low on the HP because the casters and the berserkers can whittle down their health over time, because obviously I'm not returning this or whatever. That and either Nero I'm using on wave 3. They get close to they can one turn the big giant Spriggan at the end, so I'm not too concerned about it. What's a good CE for Nero caster? Basically any starting charge CE. First Sunrise is excellent on her because she's got a Buster MP, so it stacks with all of her buffs very well. So basically, you give her First Sunrise, and she's got her own attack buff. She's got an MP damage buff because of her MP overcharge, and she has a Buster buff. So you have the Holy Trinity right there. A color buff, or in other words, a card buff, an attack buff, and an MP damage buff. The Holy Trinity. You have all you can give Neurocaster all three if you give her something like First Sunrise, or any CE that gives her a Buster buff. You need gems? Hold out until Christmas. Neurofest doesn't have gems, right? If I recall correctly. Yep, correct assessment, JB. Some of the mat prices are hilarious. To be fair, you can get insane drops. I think the max drop bonus is plus 30, and imagine that on the best nodes for this event. Like you could easily farm like chunks of 600 to 700, maybe even 800 mats per run on the best nodes once we get through the main storyline. Nearfest does have gems, okay. Then I was told incorrectly last night. But that's fine. How good is Conquest as a Conquest on Nero? What's Conquest again? I know it's a Buster buff and something else. It depends on what the secondary effect on it is. It already has a Buster buff, so I would think it's pretty decent already. Hate the fire map because every time it wastes your turn or your time with every turn. I mean, the good thing about it is that no Berserker gets her third skill bonus effect here because it's a fire map. So that is something to consider. Even you have as a free play is clearing the shop easily. Yeah, as long as you just stack max bonus, as much bonus as you can, you just chop through the shop super fast. Like, even though this is not these are not the best nodes that we can possibly get, these nodes are not bad, honestly. Like, even with what little farming that I've done so far, like I've been able to clear out like over half the shop already. And now it's basically just a few more ascension mats. I need to get the embers, need to pick up the foes, and basically just the monuments and pieces and the mana prisms. So, yeah, very comfy farming, or very comfy progress, or as Twitch chat would call it, progress. Pog. Okay. Still need about 400 more. So we'll continue on with this. It's MP Gen, okay. So if it's MP Gen and Buster Buff, then actually that would be I would say it would be excellent on Nerocaster, because Nerocaster already has very good MP generation anyway. Like, you guys can probably see it just from the stream. But every time Nero uses one of her arts cards, she gets a chunk of MP gain off that, even on Berserkers. So let's see how much MP charge Nerocaster gets off this. So she starts at 50. So, and she's attacking a Berserker. Okay, she'll get the overkill bonus on this. Yeah, like 19%. Not bad. And God forbid we see how much MP charge she gets off this. They're both at Infinite. What? Both Neurofest and Christmas? Yeah. They're both Infinite. You see, there you go. So, I would say Conquest is a very good CE on a Nerocaster. It basically helps her do her job even better. So. MP left 4. She's 4 Roko. I'll go for MP5 next week when Saber Frank gets her solo rate up. I don't think she'll kill off this. Yeah, barely. They really should have made some of the 1 and 2 stars bonus servants. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the part of the game I feel that DW sort of starts leaving I should use the Neurocast's other arts card. This is the part of the game, or this is the point in the game where DW starts forgetting about the low star servants as far as like event bonuses are concerned. I mean, maybe they do feature low free-to-play servants as event bonus in future events. Like, I'm not trying to say that they never do it anymore, but it's like, well, because it's summer, it's like, well, people care about the gold servants and whatnot, so it's like, hey, fuck the free-to-play servants, we're just gonna throw in the gold servants, because that's obviously what people only care about, right? See if Neurocast can get 10% MP charge off of the card. Not quite. And then they remember, but then always make them limited for some dumb fucking reason. Yeah. Blizz bless. May Fluffy Tail bless you. Boudica definitely should be a bonus. I think she is. Pretty sure she is, right? Because she shows up in story. The the whole plot, she's basically the plot device here in part 2, or in round 2 rather, not part 2. That's something else entirely. So yeah, she should be a bonus here. She gives at least +1, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Hey Juna, welcome back. Yeah. So, I guess I take it back. So this event already obviously does have a few 3 stars, not too many, but it has a few at least. So, I mean, you can always use them if you don't have anyone else. So yeah, I'll take it back. I'll take back part of my words, because clearly Boudica is a bonus servant here. So she does give you something better than nothing, of course. +1. And technically, if technically that's the same bonus amount of bonus that Summer 1 servants have. So there you go, I guess. Thor and Babbage. Yeah, pretty sure those 2 are the only ones, right? Because they're the only 3 stars who are directly involved in the story somehow. Can't even fit all the 5-star Cs. Yeah, that's always the issue with farming the gold mats, is because if you want to stack your entire line with 5-star Cs and you're limited to like using actual bonus servants, then you have to cut corners somewhere. You gotta start cutting corners. Yeah, exactly. So that's where low rarity servants come in. Which is why I always advocate leveling your low rarity servants, even if you're a whale. Okay, because it's like, well, they still have a use even if it's not like immediately noticeable. Like, they can hold Cs for you in your backline while you frontline your gold servants or whatever. And in case of an emergency, if you fuck up and you somehow get your frontline wiped out, which has definitely happened to me a couple times because I'm either distracted by stream or I'm being Pepiga and make a mistake, then you know, your backline obviously has to come in, and you know, chances are you could probably still salvage the run if your low rarity servants are, you know, max level and they're decently skilled and shit like that. So. Hey, Matthias, however you want me to say your name. What's going on? Farming alliance sets alongside you. That's what I like to hear. Fran was starting to turn into a berserker there for just a moment. Give me one moment, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta go take care of something real quick. Alright, we're back. Also, forgot to use the batteries. Summer 2 battle theme is possibly your favorite. Yeah, so far the soundtrack is pretty fire. The kids still say that, right? This shit is fire, something like that. Have you ever danced with a Nobu in pale firelight? Can't say I have. It would be interesting though. Yes, just keep stacking those debuff resistance downs on a Neurocaster, why don't you? Motherfucker. I was told gas was a new way of describing things. I know that in the Call of Duty community, the word gas is slang for how do they use it again? They basically use it like a sort of I'm trying to think. The COD community is very fascinating in terms of what kind of lingo they use. It's unlike any other community I've ever seen. Like they use it as like a basically like an adjective, like oh I'm gassed, like or a verb, like oh you guys are gassing me. Its meaning changes based on the context. It's actually very fascinating. So sometimes it can be, from what I understand, sometimes it can be a good thing, and other times it can be a bad thing. Like basically, kind of like how people use the word, people use the phrase, "Oh, I'm turned," kind of like that. Fascinating or pepiga, yes. Gassed as exhausted, and the way I was referring to, no, it actually means motivated, or something like that. Or like, I'm fired up kind of thing. I need 1,000 parts for the embers, so... What summer server do you want for JP this year? After reading through Summer 2 story, Okita. MP5 in a fucking heartbeat. Even better if it's both Okita and Okitan. Do you know how much money it'll make this year if you get if they bundle both Okita and Okitan? Make Okita Part 1, Okitan Part 2. Easy money. Have they announced Summer 4 servers? Not yet. They will do so in about 2 weeks. Because next week is going to be their 4th anniversary stream. So we'll get their 4th anniversary news and game content stuff on the 3rd next week, which would be the 4th for no, the 2nd. No, it would still be the 3rd for us, but still. We're rich. Oh wait, Kappa. Small indie development company, by the way. And before Tama asks as Annie, we'll see. I'm not so sure. We'll see though. I wouldn't rule out the possibility, but we shall see. You ready for the Eagle Union event at Ale tomorrow? I don't have a lot of coin, but I do have a lot of gems. So we'll see what they cook up. I just want my Sandy Kai. I've been told it's coming. Is Neurocaster good for challenge quests? No, I wouldn't say so. Nothing in her kit like immediately stands out as like challenge quests like geared towards challenge quests. Like she's got a lot of buffs, but just because you have a lot of buffs doesn't make you immediately good at challenge quests. It's not quite how that works. Like she's got guts, she's got a targetable guts, which is nice, and she's got a battery, but batteries are more relevant in farming situations and not necessarily challenge quests. Okitan comes June 2020, 1 month before Scotty. Yeah, kind of funny how things line up, don't they? Face card not matching sprite. You might be confusing. Oh no, never mind. You're not confusing it. Yeah, this Nero definitely has mismatched face cards. Any other way to get Sand Quartz besides singularities? You get Sand Quartz from the free quest, which you've probably already been doing. You get 3 Sand Quartz every week just from login, so log in every day and you get 3 Sand Quartz from that. Do your weeklies. Your weeklies give you 2 Sand Quartz every week, as long as you, or you can just save the Sand Quartz fragments and use that as like an emergency Sand Quartz pile. Some whales that I know X0 does this. What they do with their weeklies is they do their weeklies every week, but they don't redeem them for Sand Quartz right away. Instead, what they do is they just sit on all the Sand Quartz fragments that they have, and in case an emergency happens where they run out of whale quartz to whale gotcha with, what they would do is they would turn to their Sand Quartz fragments pile and then start redeeming those as, like I said, as an emergency backup Sand Quartz supply. But if you want to do that, go ahead. It doesn't really make a difference one way or another. It's just how people prefer to handle their accounts. But anyways, back to my point of do your weeklies. If you increase bond on your servants, of your gold servants especially, 3 stars give you 1 Sand Quartz each with every bond level past 6 up until 10. 4 stars give you 2, 5 stars give you 3. 2 stars only give you a Sand Quartz, only give you a Sand Quartz, unlike going to like bond 8 or 9 or something like that. So raising bond does give you St. Quartz. It just takes a long time because it's bond we're talking about. So you do need to deal with that. Did I already buy out everything with the gold material? I guess I did. Interesting. Didn't even realize I was that far ahead, that far along in the shop grind. And you also get free Saint Quartz from like social media stuff and whatnot. You also get 20 Saint Quartz every 50-day login streak. So there's a lot of ways, but they're all very time intensive. How goes the Yumu? It's going very well. We need Avenger Boudica in the game. Yes. Remember that before you start talking mad shit on Boudica, remember that she's an OG servant, meaning she was in the game from the very beginning. Back in the dark days of DW being a absolute pleb of a development company, and had no fucking clue what they were doing because they were like, oh hey look, we're making a mobile game for Fate, haha, let's just do whatever, right? Haha. No one's gonna care about this shit. And besides, we don't even know how our own game works, so fuck it. Kappa. Are there any notable servants who are good in both challenge quests and farming? Merlin and Waver. And with caster's MP is nice. Yeah, it's nice. Alright, Artemis. Take care, man. Understandable, Amory. Just give it a little bit for the salt to wear off and come back to farming. What serving have you given the most Grails? Well, if you put it that way, Lily and Hercules, or Heracles. I know people are gonna fucking lynch me if I call him Hercules. But technically those two, because they're 4 stars, and so they need more Grails to get to 100. Estimate for part 2? I don't know, sometime next week, I guess. Or in a week and a half, it depends. I get the feeling, I know Gabri's been in here for a while. I'm pretty sure he's got his second archive filled up already. At least that's what I would wager. Supposed to release on the 5th? Sounds about right. Something like that. What's on the 5th? Probably when part 2 comes out. Yeah, that's what I thought, Gabri. You don't know how this event works? It's very simple. Just look at all these teams. Just read through the main story, or don't if you don't want to. It's mainly shenanigans anyway. Look through all these nodes. Check on the wiki or Trinipedia, whichever is your preferred website of choice, and see what kind of mats they drop you. Some of the 3 of these teams drop you are consolidated mats. In other words, they only drop you one mat, one shop currency. Others are combinations, so they drop you two mats in one node. So yeah, let's go off that. And then use these boosters if you want to. I mean, you pretty much should, because it's not like you're going to be using it for anything else. They help with farming a lot, because it's 50% color buff. So that's basically permanent until the end of the fight. So it's great. It's very simple, actually. I thought looking at it going into it, I thought it was going to be somewhat complicated, but turns out it's really not. We Gucci. Summer Fran, a good farmer. She's single target, so you'd have to put her up against obviously single target enemies. Her first skill is extremely powerful because in the event that you're farming with like shop currency bonus CEs, you can charge her MP very fast because her first skill is an 80% MP generation bonus. So it helps her supercharge her MP really fast, which is great. Single target, so not really. You do know that, disappointed, you do know that there's plenty of farming nodes out there where you only have to fight 1 or 2 enemies, right? Like, while AoE servers are typically better for farming than single targets, every so often you'll come across a situation where you need a single target because an AoE just won't cut it. Like, for example, last year's Nerofest during round 2, we had that one node with Arjuna at the end. Was it Arjuna? I forget. But the middle wave was that big old Spriggan with like, well, I don't know how much health it had, like 100,000, something like that. And I remember we used Chloe for that because she has a battery and she's a single target archer, and Spriggans are usually sabers, which this one was. So. Like, I would even go so far as to say that Saber Friend is in situations like this where you're trying to farm with max bonus CEs for max drops. She's very useful because of her first skill. Because using that, she can supercharge her MP very quickly, and especially with crits. Is what I would argue. Very pog. So pog. Poggers even. Protoku ain't used very often, but he's great for hydro farming. Yep, hydro farming. I remember back in the day, 2 years ago, for you OGs out there, remember Germania farming for talons? 3% drop rate, by the way. But, yeah. We used, I remember the OG farmers back in the day used Protoku for that, because Protoku is an OG servant. And his anti-beast skill was very useful for killing the Chimera there very quickly. So, and then we used them a lot once we got the new Talon node in America. I forget which node that was called. It's the one with Li Shuan, the Shadow Li Shuan at the end. But yeah, Protoku doesn't always show up for on you know, in farming teams, but when he does, he's actually very useful because he's there for a reason. Which is nice to know. Kamina dies episode 8. I assume that's a Gurren Lagann spoiler. Who is this motherfucker? I'm going to ban his ass off my friends list. Even if you're spoiling a 20-year-old anime or however old it is. Let's see. I don't care who the fuck you are, but you're an asshole. Goodbye. I'm sure if he watches that part of the stream, I'm sure he'll come back begging me to add him back on my friends list again. Yeah, Emery Pop. I've been doing Girls Frontline dailies every day. I just finished them like a couple hours ago. Deserved, Pepe laugh. I should enable Pepe laugh. In fact, I'll do that right now. I love Pepe laugh. Azeroth, remember that Babbage has his invul skill. Actually, is his remind me again, his invul skill is the one that gives him the attack buff, right? So I guess you can't use that. And it's only for 1 turn, or is it for 3 turns? If it's 1 turn, then yeah, you're kind of fucked. But then again, it's like, well, you know, you could save him, but not have as much damage output. Or, I guess you can just let him die and be Pepe hands. Did you also get the new boat in boats? Which new one? Centaur? Yeah. We're currently in the middle of passively leveling her, so she will be ready, hopefully soon. He's so bad though, his stats are super low. Well, kind of the problem of being a 3-star caster. And remember that casters get fucked on damage because they have a 0.9 times a class damage modifier. Which blows. Can Rishtar spam with Scotty? I don't think so. Could be wrong, but I don't think she can. Anyhow, too, X-Ray, you've known me for long enough to know what my answer's gonna be to that, right? I'll make them when I have the time and when I feel like it. I would have gotten started already, but the problem is my new PC is having an issue, and I don't really feel like rendering any videos on my old one. I mean, if it comes down to it, I can go back to my old PC and get like a video or two out real quick, but I would rather save it for when my new PC gets its issue fixed. Why would you want to spam Rider Ishtar's MP? Her MP animation is too long. Yeah, Nita Chris Caster's MP animation is fucking long, but we always use it anyway, because 100% battery is kind of good. Yeah, of course, Xer. I'll get back to making videos as soon as I can. It's just right now not a good time for it. Okay, we can buy the mag wheels for these, I guess. Do I need them? No, but I'm gonna buy them anyway. The shop soundtrack is also super good too. Can you make more videos on either waifus or boats? I can think about some. I think it would be easier for me to make boats videos than waifus. We'll see though. If I get like a sudden inspiration or something like that, I don't know what people call it, but if I get like an idea for a video and I really want to make it, then yeah, I'll go ahead and make it. Which servants did you didn't care for at first, but you grew to like them? I'm sure there are a couple that I just don't remember off the top of my head. Hey, yo, King of Balance, what's going on, man? What starter should you bring in this event? What do you mean starter? They tell us Bleach what's going on, man. Toho and FGO Part 3 when? What's that? Best place for lamps? I don't know. What does the wiki say? Which team is can drop lamps? Why are these all bike? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong fucking thing. Fran, Raiko. Helena, okay, so both Helena's and Fran's teams have lamps active. I think the spreadsheet says their drop rates are all the same, so it's basically just a matter of which node do you feel more comfortable farming. Does he mean Toho Grand Order? That makes sense. Yeah, that's been on the back of my mind. Because I did say I was going to try to get the next one out relatively soon. And it's already been, what, 3-4 months since then? Probably even more, so I don't know. I have to get started working on that too. Jesus. Such a fucking backlog of shit. What do you mean by lottery box event calculator monotone? Hey Vera, what's going on, man? How's life? Tiring. How good do you think somewhere near us for farming and or boss killing? It's better for farming, obviously. If all you care about for boss killing is just doing as much damage as possible, then yeah, Neurocast is one of the best casters for it. If you're up against like assassins and shit, but for challenge quests, I think I mentioned it before. Like other than her guts and maybe her battery, she doesn't have a lot going for her as far as the like challenge quest related skills and effects are concerned. If you want to farm 500 boxes, it calculates how much AP it'll cost. Interesting. But the thing is, Monotone, is that when you say that we hyper farmers are gonna appreciate it, I mean, I appreciate the work for that. As my processor crashing again, yep, there it goes. I appreciate your work, for that. But the thing is that if we want a hyper farm, then we don't really care how much AP it's gonna cost us, or how many refills it's gonna cost us, because we're gonna refill it anyway, no matter what. So I'm not really too sure how useful that would be to us. Honestly, I think something like that would be more useful to dolphins and free-to-plays, because they can actually make use of it. Because seeing how many refills it's gonna take to farm so and so number of boxes is way more useful for people like them, because you know they don't have infinite freaking Saint Quartz or apples to use to farm with, right? Like typically you're not gonna have people like that like farm you know 200 Saint Quartz worth of refills worth of boxes over the course of the event. Typically they'll only do like what, it depends on the person obviously, but usually if you're dropping like 200 300 refills on a lottery, you're typically not a free to play or a dolphin, and if you were, then you no longer are. So I think it's going to be more useful for them, and not necessarily for us, because we don't care about the cost, because it's a lottery. Don't care how much it's going to cost, we're going to do it. Your pixels, yeah. That's what happens when the processor crashes. Hey Nightmare, what's going on? Are you doing full drops? Yeah. Favorite summer servant? Neurocaster, obviously. Over Tama? Well, not over Tama, of course. That guy was just asking for summer too, I think. Or at least that's what my impression was. The usual chill stream tonight. Yep. Hey Lord Calcal, what's going on, man? How does Saber Friend pair with Scotty? She can't loop, which is unfortunate, but I mean, you give her 100% quick buff, and yeah, she'll probably dunk somebody. Gotta wait next year for Nero for casting Nero. Rip. Hopefully next year you'll be able to get her then. same as Neurofest? More or less. More or less. Guildfest is what Neurofest used to be. Well, if you or anyone's curious, it's out there. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for letting us know. If somebody comes along and is like, well, oh, I wanna, is there like a tool that I can use to like see how many refills? I'll need to farm so and so amount of boxes, and yeah, I'll send them your way. It's a very specific request, to be fair, but I'll try to keep that in mind. Those Nero buffs, yeah. We're basically stacking 100% attack buff on her. Plus 30% from herself, so. What's the farming team right now? I'm using double Nero and Saber Brand. Is your Centaur level 120 in Oath yet? Not yet, but I do plan to Oath her. I'm taking it kind of slow at the moment. That, and I'm kind of limited by gold bullets, which sucks. Been spending all my gold bullets on my subs lately, because now that we have the sub update, and we have the newest sub update where we have the supply line disruption weekly, I've been trying to get I've been trying to build a sub fleet, a permanent sub fleet, so I can actually start doing those. And I've only very recently been able to finish fielding them, so. So now that I've got at least one full sub squadron, I'm gonna go back and start leveling, like giving Centaur her bones whenever they come in. What is oathing? Marrying. It happens, Kelly. It happens. I remember that happening to me once, where I was basically pulling everything else except the 3-star CE for whatever dumb reason. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Gotchas. Stop flexing. You need to chill, YouTube. Let people flex if they want. It ain't hurting you. Well, I mean, I guess it triggers you, but that's not my problem. Wolfpack? Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm only in the middle of leveling one German sub. I'll probably get to leveling 2 other German subs at some point so that I can make use of their Wolfpack stuff. But for now, I'm running Iroha, who's basically Nero but as a boat. Iku and who is it? Who's the newest SSR German sub? I forgot her name. Fuck. Is it U101 or something like that? I'm running those 3. Cold casting your Nobu. Hey, congrats, man. U101. Yes, I remember her name. Best girl outside of Fate. Yikes, that's a very wide blanket you just given me right there. How did Nero's rolls go? I think it was 1600, 1700, something around that. Let's see. MP4 Nero, MP3 Saberfriend, MP5 Nidochris, and MP5 No Berserker. So overall, so far, a great banner. I was constantly like, oh, it's a very good banner, but now that I think about it, like, that's actually a pretty great banner. Not gonna lie. So worth it in my opinion. Is Saberfriend worth pulling for? I think she is, yeah. If nothing else, she's fun to use. So there is that to consider. Not too bad, yeah. The sub banner was poorly placed. What do you mean by that? Like it was a bad time to release all the new subs? Maybe so, yeah. Cause it's like, cause what happened? We had JB, and then we had the subs. I think the subs were right after, right? And then now we have Centaur, and then now we're about to get all the new Murica boats. So yeah, I guess it's been a rush of new servants, new boats lately. So I can understand that. So I know for a fact that I'm running low on coin, so I may have to degen on coin for this upcoming raid up if we're even gonna get one. We probably should be, right? Yeah. Because they've been announcing all those new boats on Twitter. Who's more useful to pull for, Fran or Raiko? Raiko by far. Fran is super cute, but Raiko just fucking obliterates people. What other games do you play on stream? Well, if I had my new PC, would I play other mobile games? I've played Girls Frontline and Boats on stream before. On my new PC, I've been able to stream, like, you know, for mainly first-person shooters. If I'm not streaming mobile games, I stream first-person shooters, FPSs. I think I played Blops on stream, Black Ops 4. I played some Killing Floor on stream, but that was a long time ago, and even on my new PC too. I played Siege. I've played what else? Basically, just a handful of first-person shooters, and that's pretty much it, though. Will I ever play PUBG on stream? It won't be on this computer, I can tell you that for a fact. Yeah, Taipensu. I'm fairly certain it's another power supply issue. I don't know what it is with me and power supplies, but what I think is going on is that it may be a faulty power supply, or it malfunctioned unexpectedly. So I've run a few tests to make sure that it is, and it seems like it's a power supply issue. So yeah, I'm gonna take tonight to decide on how I want to go about fixing it. I do want to bring across a friend of mine who lives nearby, and to make sure that make absolute certain that it is actually a power supply issue, and it's not because it's some other dumb reason. So I'll do that, and then once that happens, I'll take action. What brand was the supply? Funnily enough, I think it was a Corsair. Power supply. No, never mind. It's not a Corsair. It's a thermal take. I was confusing that with a new power supply that I got for this old PC, and that I know for a fact that's a Corsair. Hey Blades, what's going on, man? Wonder when Salter Rider will get rid of her instinct. There are two Salter Riders, so I know which one you're talking about. That's up to DW's discretion. We'll see when they feel like fixing it, though.
劇場のサイマナーになっていないキャプそこを動くな何をする何をするきらめくぞ我が劇場のサビになる撃て撃て何をするきらめくぞそこを動くな動くなオリンピアプラウデーレ祭典の席よマナーになっていない客よな
What servant should you pull for the upcoming event?
劇場は海より
Well, if you don't know, why not try for any of them? They're all on rate up right now. So, try your luck. Like, try going for Neurocaster, I guess. Try your luck. Your favorite. Good answer. How many boxes are you planning to do with Neurofest Lotto? As many as I possibly can. That's always been my answer, and I feel no reason to change that. Just to give you a benchmark of or an idea of how many boxes I've farmed before, or how many boxes I could farm. I farmed around 400 total during Da Vinci's first run. Let's see what else. 400 for over 400 for Neurofest last year, and then 500, pretty much 500 flat for Christmas. So I would like to keep that up, but we'll see. It depends on how much time I have during that time, which time shouldn't be an issue. It's more a factor of how efficiently I can farm that event's nodes. And of course, how easily I get extra CE drops, assuming we need those for the currency drop bonuses, which I assume they do. I assume there's something like that. How many times have you heard Nero's MP? Not enough, clearly. If IRL affecting your ability to farm, how do you compensate? Well, if IRL is blocking you from being able to farm, well, there's not shit you can really do about it. You just kind of have to deal with it. It sucks, but there's no easy answer to
きらめく我が劇場のサビになそこ動くな動くな
Now you appreciate the 1,000 box people much more. I think those are as of recently. I would imagine getting boxes in recent JP lottery events is a lot easier because you have a lot more servants and a lot more broken ass servants to work with. Scotty.
我が劇場のサビになっていない客よな
Like I don't even think our best farmers from Farmville hit 1,000 have hit 1,000 boxes yet in any of the events so far, in any of the lottos so far. I would assume 1,000 box lottos are only possible in JP at the moment. How do boxes lottery work? Basically, when you start farming a lottery event, every node can drop you lottery currency. So for example, last year during Eurofest, it was petals, like literal rose petals. And it dropped in basically every node that showed up that you could farm. You farm a set number of them to farm for one box. We call them boxes. You can go to the shop to look at your box. Each box has a ton of different materials, and you need, like, let's say 10 rose petals to roll like a 10 shot on the lottery. Basically like a multi-roll, but it's on a lottery, and it's giving you random mats from a limited pool of materials and other items. But you can keep rolling that until you fully buy out that lottery. And if you do that, then you get all the materials guaranteed, as there's no RNG with that. So what you would do then is you farm hella lotto currency so that you can fully roll as many boxes as you can, so that you can get as many materials as you can. That's how it works. And you just keep doing that over and over. How many tickets does the Neurofest give? I don't know. You may have to look that up on your own. After doing a few boxes, the rewards become less, but it's still worth it. I mean, if you're talking about as in you start losing out on gold apples and silver apples, yeah, I guess. But you're still getting all the essential materials, you're still getting all the friend points, you're still getting all the embers, and you're still getting all the either the gems or the pieces and monuments that come with it. The only things, like the first 5 or 6 boxes, depending on the event, they're the ones that give you the event Cs, if there is one, and like the golden apples and the silver apples. So after those first 5 or 6, yeah, you don't get them anymore. But to say that you get less out of that, it's like, well, I mean, a little bit less, yeah, but like you said, it's still very much worth it. I don't know, the way you said that kind of made it sound like, oh, the first 6 boxes are like the best by far by a wide margin, and then everything out of that just fucking sucks, lol. Which is not how it is at all. Yeah, it's a macro, Emery. I've been using a macro for opening lottery boxes as well. I've done so on stream, both during Eurofest and during Christmas. Now, do I remember how to still use it, is the question. Only using optimal team. If you're talking about lotteries, I only use optimal teams. Got 2,000 here. Buy out the Phoenix Feathers. Next up is the Stingers. Alright. Moving on to the Stingers. Nope. Wrong servant. Optimal on JP is Lancelot and 2 Scotties. Well, obviously. How many apples did you use to farm 400 boxes? I don't know. I would estimate, like rough estimate, I don't know, about 200, 300 Saint Quartz. Did you have a 3-turn setup for last lotto, and how long did it take you to farm so many boxes? Yeah, every lottery node that there's been, it's always been a 3-turn team, because for lotteries, the thing about going super hard on lotteries is that efficiency is your utmost priority. You 3-turn that shit, or you start suffering. Is pretty much the name of the game right there. So yes, every lottery node that there has ever been, there has been a 3-turn team for it, as far as I recall. And how long did it take me? Well, put it this way, as soon as the event started, I was basically playing only FGO for as long as the event lasted. The only times I wouldn't be playing FGO were when I was working, in the bathroom, eating, and sleeping. Every other time, farming. Way more than 300. You'd be surprised how long a full pack of Saint Quartz can actually last you, even with like hyper optimal 3-turn teams and shit like that. Like a full pack of Saint Quartz, if you were to buy a full pack of Saint Quartz and you were an absolute mad lad and you didn't use it for rolling, but instead you used it for farming, you'd be amazed how many materials you'd be able to come out of that full pack of Saint Quartz that are basically just glorified apples. You'd be surprised. So, what, 300 is less than 2 full packs, right? So it's basically like a pack and 2 quarters, 2/3 or 3/4 or something like that. Like, that's a lot of quartz. That's a lot of refills. When did you start playing FGO NA? Day 3, and then I actually started on day 4. And I still have my original login streak. Eurofest teams. I believe Saber of Avalon is working on a spreadsheet for Eurofest, so I'm just going to use whatever teams that are there. And also, after consulting the rest of the Whale Discord about what teams that they're deciding to use. reroll for 3 days or just started day 3? Just started day 3. It didn't take me long, technically. I only rerolled like a total like 6 or 7 times before I got Saber. I was like, I guess I'm starting with Saber. Bryn rolls are a hyper skip. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you ever want to see a stream where I just skip literally everything to get Bryn, Neurofest is gonna be the one. So for those of you guys out there who love to jerk yourselves off to skipping to people who skip rolls on stream, Neurofest is gonna be the perfect time. Should you post a spreadsheet? To what? Saber's the Neurofest thing? Sure, yeah, go ahead. Skip is peak bad civ. Under normal circumstances, I would agree, but a lottery is not normal circumstances. The most challenging events so far are is like Neurofest. I mean, I guess if you include all the challenge quests along with it, I guess technically maybe, I don't know. Like, it'll be hard for whales, or the ones that actually bother farming anyway, because we're going to be concentrating on farming as much as possible, whereas, you know, the free-to-plays and the cheat-to-plays and stuff like that, like, they're obviously not going to be farming as hard as we are, but they're probably going to be, you know, they're gonna have a tougher time with the challenge quests, that's for sure. So, take that for what you will, I guess. Yes, there won't be any skip or dies with the Bryn banner. Yeah, unless I because I'm skipping everything, I technically ban everybody from chat. All right, catch you later, Azeroth. Thanks for stopping by, man. We can expect fast rolls for Arash. Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that might be the case. Still trying to figure out how you can return the second Neurofest node. Look, random. Look up and scroll up in chat. Lord Cowcow has posted a link to a spreadsheet that a friend of ours has been working on. His name is Saber of Avalon, and he's been working on this Neurofest spreadsheet for the past few months and getting it ready. And I believe it should be almost done considering how close Neurofest is now. So check it out, basically. Gonna Thanos the chat. Snap. Kiara, Raiko, Waver, Merlin from Wave 2. Yeah, it might be pretty whale heavy, to be fair. It's a very detailed sheet. Yep, Saber makes very detailed infographics and spreadsheets on these things. He thinks about he puts together whale teams, and then he works down from there and puts together teams that are more affordable to everybody else. Lartoria was MVP of second rotation. I know for a fact during last year's second rotation she was definitely MVP. At second or third rotation, either one.
象は海より水が良い。これさ、誉れ歌うイルステリア、すなわち良い演目であった。次の公演も楽しみにするがよい。
Okay. Alright, boys. I said it would be a short stream, and I'm getting hungry, and it's already almost like 9 o'clock anyway here, so I'm gonna go grab some food. And I'm gonna just end the stream here because, like I said, today was kind of a long day, and I want to get some rest after this. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna end the stream early now because I said it would be. I'm gonna go raid Caldera Gurus. I see that they're streaming on Twitch now, so make sure to go check them out. YouTube chat. I know you guys know these guys. Oops. I know you guys know these guys, so go make sure to check them out. They're streaming on Twitch now. So yeah, go do me a favor, YouTube chat, and go raid them. Same with you guys over on Twitch chat. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I know it was a shorter stream today, but we'll try to have some longer streams later this week. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your day. And we'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.